Hi everyone, welcome to the Business for Builders podcast. Welcome to you if you're watching this on YouTube. My name's Max, CEO of Smith & Sons. Today, I just wanted to quickly chat more along the lines of more about mindset. And, I really was inspired by an interview that I saw between Simon Sinek and somebody else. And I've got him as a bit of a fan at the moment. I like the way he rolls and some of his deep thought processes. And further to our mindset, management, marketing, mentoring, and business mastery, high performance pillars we have in the business, I really want to focus today around something that Simon talks about, and it was actually talks about the infinite game. And if I was going to title today's podcast, I might use something like "In Front Days and Behind Days." That was something that he mentioned. And it's interesting that, for me as an individual, there is no question that I have this disease called enjoys being a competitor. Now, most of the time, I would look back on my life, whether it was, when I played Australian rules football from the age of under 8. I've tried to get an Australian rules football team going here in the Okanagan, and it's quite a grind. But, I really enjoyed, my personality is very much competitive. I would say that I've never really excelled or been that good of, but I've super enjoyed the competitive nature of sport. I love motor racing, Australian rules football. And so the point I want to make today, I think, is that, I think as long as you're doing what you enjoy doing, and it's in an environment where, it suits your personality and it's what you love to do, then I think every day can be, a day on the way to somewhere where you want to end up being. And so, we talked about the game of business being the infinite game. And there's no question that Smith & Sons in North America is not the largest organization as far as general contractors are concerned. But I'm telling you something, we are in the game. And that really, to me, means the most. So for me, as having a very highly strung competitive attitude, whereby I will race you to the corner store. I was even in the gym the other day, and the buddy that I work out with, we said, well, we'll do 2Ks on the treadmill. The first thing that I said to Ronnie is, I'll race you to 2Ks. Like, I couldn't help myself. It had to be a competition. I just can't go there and just sort of go, okay, I'm going to do 30 minutes on the treadmill or however long it takes me to do 2Ks. And by the way, I call that a jog walk because I can't run 2Ks. But anyway, it's always about being, and I think the competitive aspect of me is that says there is other people in my industry, in my sport, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, there's other people around me that do it better than I do. And that tells me that I can get better if I so choose. And so, when I go back to some days are in front days, other days are behind days. There's definitely days, even within my micro, ecosystem in this business, where there is easily days where I am not functioning, like I should be. I don't have the right mindset. Things aren't going the way it should be. I'm making phone calls and sales calls and it's not working out. And I just, they're what I would call behind days. But two things that'll bring me out of that little low spot. One is gratitude, being grateful for the good things in my life. And the other thing is understanding that I can get better and I play the long game. I choose to focus on, I said to a couple that I was chatting with yesterday about the opportunity, the franchise opportunity with Smith & Sons, that, we overestimate what we can do in 12 months and we underestimate what we can do in 10 years. And that's because we have this short-term mindset. It's just like, I want it all and I want it now. Good lyrics to a song, just by the way. But, I think what we've got to really embrace the concept is that business is like, you can be a rock star this year and then something happens within your business, within your personal life that affects your business. And all of a sudden you're not winning like you should. And I think, what Simon Sinek calls the infinite, the infinite game of business is that if we do have a bad day, bad week, bad month, bad year even, it's not a death blow. It's not something that takes us out. If we're committed to the end result and we understand the long game, even if you've had an atrocious day, week, month, year, there's no reason why you can't step up. See, there is no final siren. I mean, there is if you take your last breath, God forbid. But ultimately, the game of business is something. It's why I just enjoy, because there is no finish line. So essentially, there's no like, well, we're going to be the biggest. I'm actually not really. I'm not really wanting to be the biggest. I just know that as we move forward and as we continue to do what we do, we are progressing. And I think that's really, when I talk about innovative disruption, there's no question that what we're doing in the building game in North America is not typical. It's very unorthodox. So we don't even have a playbook, really, how to do this. We are literally making this up on the fly. So I'm telling you right now, our failure rate is significant. But it seems like the more errors and the more mistakes that I make, the more data, the more I learn, the better we get. We do things at an improved level. And so, I really want to encourage, if you're a GC out there, and I don't care. I mean, I'm 48. I've been in this game now this will be my 32nd year in construction. It doesn't really matter whether you're just a startup or whether or not you've been around the game. All it takes is your attitude towards change and embracing the failure as part of your learning curve, because what you fail at today, you could master tomorrow. And as you move forward, what you find is that the more you fail, the more you learn, the better you get, the improve. So the more improvements that you make. And so this is why, I think I want to take away the focus that I want to be the biggest in my town. I think it's completely irrelevant. Gary Vaynerchuk talks about, the concept or the principle around, some business operators want to build the biggest building in town by destroying everybody else's building. I'm in a town here where there is some multi-generational construction companies. Do I want to be the biggest in this town? Well, yeah, sure I do. I want to be the biggest building in town for sure. But I'm not about trying to discourage or really destroy another man's, or woman's creation. I'm just going to look at that as and going back to my competitive nature, I just want to do better what we're already doing. I want to do more. I want to, give more value, all that sort of thing. And so, that really comes down to a mental concept. So, in a previous podcast, I've talked about how that your mindset affects the way you feel, and the way you feel determines their actions. And of course, the actions is the outworking of my thought process. So we've got to understand that failure is not final. Failure is just something on the way. I don't care if you've gone broke. I don't care if you've really, underestimated a project and then you've had to spend the next 2 years paying it off. Another saying that I use often is that a setback is a setup for a comeback. And so, that might not be relevant for you if all you've seen is success, success, success. But I want to tell you, there's probably people out there, either in podcast land or YouTube land, that are listening or hearing this or watching this, and they're going, that's exactly what's happened. So I want you to know that if you've had failure in your life, a setback is a setup for a comeback. And so it's your time. But see, it's only your time if you choose to embrace it as an advantage and not a disadvantage. If you've got a woe is me attitude and life, sucks, and, you just want to suck on lemons, well, that's what I would regard as below the line thinking. You will never pull yourself out. So you're in a what I would call a behind day. You are running well behind. But we always love the story of the underdog. And so I get motivated when I watch documentaries around business where, certain businesses had the opportunity to grow and they made a bad decision and then they failed. But then through persistence and consistency, they were able to sort of recover and then become a lead dog. And we all want to be a lead dog. We all want the fame and the fortune. Some of us are just not committed in the long term enough, and some of us just don't want to pay the price. So we've got to make sure that there is an alignment between that which we want and understanding the work that's required to get the job done. I can't tell you how many weeks I've spent here 7 days a week just doing what I do because I am so committed to being the best I can be in the sector that I am. And there is no magic. I mean, I put my pants on one leg at a time, just like you do. And so, it's really just your own personal, the race, even as competitive as I am, the race is just within you. It's like, how do you become better? Where can you link up with like-minded personalities? Where can you pull from, a certain resource to really equip the deficit that's in your business, that's in your life? And so, I really want to encourage you that whether you're running the in front days, enjoy them, because I think that is really the reward for your effort. That's the fruits of your labor. But also I want to talk to the guys and gals that maybe are sitting in those behind days and think that recovery is not an option. It's just never going to happen. I want to tell you, you can dig it out. You can come from behind. There is no question that the challenges that you face right now, here's another saying for you. Resistance builds muscle mass. Last time I checked, I wasn't going to, build my biceps by curling tissue boxes. You've got to be carrying 20 or 30 pounds. It's just the way it is. The resistance builds muscle mass. And so everything that you're going through is for a reason. You just need to find the positive in that. And then you need to put day in, day out, one foot in front of the other, step by step. You're not going to recover by just, making a decision today and then all of a sudden it's all going to come good. I don't think anyone in their right mind expects that to happen. But if you are in a hole, unfortunately, as people are trying to bury you, and I don't know if you've seen that, that picture or that cartoon where there's a donkey down a well and the owner of the donkey says, well, let's just fill the well in because the donkey's never going to make it. And as people would throw dirt into the well, the donkey would stand on that dirt, the dirt that people were throwing on top of him to bury him, and he would use that to elevate his position in that well. And then over a period of time, he basically got to the top of the well and was able to step out of that. Well, if you're in a behind day situation right now, that's for you. That's where you're at. And you need to embrace the process. Because I'm telling you, when you come out the back end of it, this has got nothing to do with age. I'm 48 right now, and I feel like I'm 21 because I'm a frigging clown and I do a bunch of irresponsible stuff. And it really, the age thing is not a good indication of my maturity level, per se. But, I really love, but it's not where you're at mentally or what says on your driver's license as far as your age. It's really your mindset. I think Ray Kroc got into, in 1954, he went and met the McDonalds brothers. And I think he kicked that off, with those guys when he was 52 or 53. So, and then he went and built one of the biggest, hospitality businesses in the world, with 38,000 locations today doing trillions of dollars. It's bizarre. And they just sell hamburgers. So you just need to reset your mind, reset your thought process. It's okay if you're in a behind day. Business is an infinite game. I don't care where you are or how you're doing. It's funny when I sit down and I talk to general contractors about the business of Smith & Sons as a franchise. There is not one time where I've ever spoken to, because I have the stats on what each town in Canada does, all thanks to Canadian Home Builders Association. Cheers, guys. I've got access. That's all public domain statistics. But there is not one general contractor when they've said, well, I'm in Calgary or I'm in Edmonton or I'm in Vernon or I'm in Penticton or wherever you might be. They have no idea on the opportunity that is in that town right now. And so when I talk to guys in my hometown here at Vernon, I say, are you aware of how much new home construction or how much renovation construction gets done in this town? None of them have ever picked anywhere near, because the opportunity is so much greater than what they know. So what they don't know, they don't know. The minute that I'm in a town here it's got 40,000 people. It does about 150 million in renos. And I've got 2 franchise general contractors in this town who will be lucky to do $3 million between them. That means there's $147 million worth of renovation work that we've still got opportunity to do. So, I think a lot of the time you are sitting right in the midst of opportunity and you don't even know it. I'll tell you what, email me, Max at Smith & Sons. If you're in Canada and you're in a sort of a major centre that might have 40 or 50,000 plus population, you can go and find this information for yourself. But I'd love to hear from you, because I will tell you the stats and it will flat blow your mind. Because nobody I've sat with in the building game here and drunk beer and when I've asked them, hey, how much reno work do you think took place here in 2019? None of them have got anywhere near it. 20 million, 40 million, not 150 million. So, I think what sometimes has got to happen, if you're in the behind days, if you're winning and you've got the thing sussed, kudos to you. Be an encouragement to somebody else, because somebody else needs to hear your story. But if you're sitting there and you're in the behind days, you need to understand that the problem is that, you've dropped your head and you've got your head down. Well, you can't move forward. You can't see the opportunity. You can't find new avenues where you can improve your situation or your own belief in yourself when you've got your eyes down. You need to lift your eyes up. You need to be optimistic. You need to start looking. And, I want that to be an encouragement. So really, business is an infinite game. Some days you'll be in front, some days you'll be in behind. But understand there is no final siren on business. If you've had a failure, this month or this year, it has no real bearing on what's going to happen to you next year. Matter of fact, next year is going to be more positive, because I believe the failure has got lessons therein for you to learn. So, look, if you love what you hear, we'd love to for you to like and subscribe. If you know somebody who'd like this info, hit them up, share the information with them. Be sure to email me at max@businessforbuilders.ca, and I'll be sure to get back to you. I'd love to hear some of you. I don't really mind positive or negative. If you're going well, then I'm going to pat you on the back and tell you you're doing a fantastic job. I'm going to troll you on the internet. I'm going to look at your Instagram page and your Facebook page and your website. But certainly if you're not really kicking goals and you're stumped or you're stuck, then I want to hear from you as well. I'd love to give you some insight wherever possible. So, my name's Max. You've been listening to the Business for Builders podcast and YouTube. And we really enjoy putting this out here. It's really, your feedback is definitely our oxygen. So the more chit chat you have with us, the more inspired we're going to be, and the more information we want to bring to the table. So have a great day and go and build a big business. Cheers, guys.